Greetings and welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today's topic is on objectivity versus subjectivity. And a lot of us think that we actually operate out of a mind of objectivity. But actually, we're a lot less receptive than that. Because you see, as humans, we tend to operate out of what we're feeling about an experience than what the experience actually means in itself. We are subjective by nature. We have our own opinions, our own views, our own core values, our own beliefs, our own map of the world, and we tend to operate out of what we already have experienced, what we already believe, what we already value. And when we become subjective, we become opinionated, we become argumentative, and we just want to prove our points the whole time. But it's not as simple as that, because everyone has their own experiences, everyone has their own views, their own core beliefs. And sometimes we just need to be a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more open, a bit more receptive to receiving new ideas, new perspectives, new emotional reactions and responses. And oftentimes we react or respond out of subjectivity. If we don't believe that something is right, then we will become subjective about it and say, oh no, but this is wrong. But that's your core belief that you have created. Remember, the idea is to remain open and objective. This is how we create connections, how we deepen bonds, how we strengthen relationships. And if you're not open and you're not receptive, then you won't learn anything new. Then you won't learn about people. In fact, you will become extremely, extremely isolated. So it's very important that when you talk to someone, that you operate out of a place of non-judgment and unconditional positive regard, meaning that you accept the person for who they are. You do not have to condone behaviors, but just accepting a person for who they are at the core can help you remain a little bit more objective. And subjectivity is something that we create in our internal worlds. It's something we establish for ourselves. And subjectivity is a result of how people experience their realities. They're not reacting to the experience. They're reacting to what they felt, what they thought about the experience, and the beliefs that they have created from that experience. And subjectivity is how we create our realities. Our own realities, our own map of the world is subjective. Everything you think, feel, believe, understand to be true is all subjective. And remaining objective is the only way to learn, and it's the only way to grow. Remember, iron sharpens iron. In the same way, people sharpen people. And subjectivity causes a lot of judgments. It causes us to mind read, where we think we know what another person is thinking and feeling. It causes us to make assumptions about people, to expect the worst from people. And it also blocks us from creating connections, strengthening bonds. And judgments is a very unhelpful way of approaching a conversation or a person or even yourself, because we tend to judge other people, but we also tend to judge ourselves as well. And that is a barrier between you being objective, open, and open to learning. Remember, subjectivity focuses on black and white thinking. What I think is wrong, what I think is right, there is no in between. And we don't always do this out of a place of entitlement. It's just the way we have conditioned ourselves to be subjective, that we react out of what we're feeling about an experience rather than what the experience means in itself. When we are subjective, it's either yes or no, wrong or right, okay, not okay. But life is a little bit more complex than that. Yes, there is wrong and right, black and white, but with many, many gray areas. It all has to do with perspective, and it all has to do with how we make meaning from life, meaning from our experiences. And when we are very subjective, especially about our own experience, our own pain, our own trauma, the things that have happened to us, we tend to find ourselves in the victim mindset because we feel subjectively that the world is out to get us, that the world is bad, that people are bad because they are not meeting, or we are not meeting these expectations that we have set for ourselves. So you become more victimized when you start thinking about, oh, my problems, my limitations, my issues, my struggles. And then you tend to judge yourself for it as well. So remember, life is not really that much black and white thinking. Yes, there are certain things that we have deemed on a moral level to be wrong or right, but life has a lot of gray areas. And if you remain subjective, you remain in the victim mindset, you remain in the mindset that you need fixing. But you don't need fixing because no one is broken. On the other hand, objectivity allows for active communication because you're not having any preconceived ideas. You're not mind reading. You're not guessing what the other person is thinking or feeling. So there are no hidden agendas. The intention is simply to sit and listen, to make meaning and understand what another person is saying. Objectivity creates active communication where we are able to actively listen to what the other person is saying without judgment, without expectations. Remember, subjectivity is always based on personal experience and personal opinion, what you have gone through, what you have decided as truth, what you have created as beliefs. But on the other hand, objectivity is about understanding facts, seeking for the truth, seeking what is true within ourselves, what is true within life, and what is true within other people. Objectivity is not taking your opinion as a fact and saying, okay, yeah, I believe your experience to be true. It's about getting all of the elements from that experience and trying to form an understanding and understand it from a fact base, operating more out of the wise mind. Remember, objectivity is empowering. It removes any barriers that we have to communication, and it also stops us from enveloping ourselves so deep into our beliefs, our problems, our views, and to understand that there is a whole nother world out there. There is not just one map of the world. There are over 8 billion different types of maps of the world. So being subjective means that you believe your experience is fact, but being objective is extremely empowering, and it opens you up to new possibilities. It makes you easier to talk to, and it makes you a less closed off person. Remember, objectivity requires critical thinking. You have to step outside the box. You have to think about what people are saying. You have to be able to read in between the lines, to see body language, to see not just what they are communicating, but how they are communicating it. And objectivity also allows for better problem solving, because you don't have that barrier, that emotion that stands between you and solving the problem. Because if you see the problem from a very subjective point of view, then it's going to be very difficult to apply problem solving. Remember, subjectivity tends to be emotional, but when we are objective, we can operate out of our wise minds. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.